If you're familiar with the Edinburgh tram route from Ingleston to Edinburgh, the very first stop is Gogarburn. Practically the only thing there is the ancient Gogar Church. A parish church or chapel was first recorded here in 1247. Over the years, there was a small hamlet, including a smithy, a school, carpenters, as well as the church itself and a farm town. In 1380, Augustine of Gogar was the rector here, and in 1411 it was held by the Bishop St Andrews. A visit in 1591 stated it was far too small for the congregation that was present, and it joined instead with Corstorphine Church, just not far away. In 1602, it ceased to be a church and was basically abandoned. It saw some activity in 1650 when General Leslie and Thomas Cromwell were commanders in charge of an artillery barrage which took place between the two. Eventually Cromwell left through lack of ammunition. The church itself was unharmed, as far as is known. In the 1790s, the graveyard was used by the various occupants of the nearby Gogar Castle. At some point around this time, part of the remaining old church was converted into a burial isle. It may have been for the families of Gogar Castle. It was also stated that Sir Robert Liston, who was from Milburn Castle, had purchased the barony, and that eventually the isle was abandoned after his death, and there were no family members, and a separate memorial was put up for him and his wife. 1891 saw a change of fortunes for the church. It was rebuilt, with a nave added, and a tower, there never was a spire, and a porch added on. In 1955 it was once again abandoned as a church. It had been used for the nearby Gogarburn Hospital. However, in 1979 it was rebuilt and is in use as a cabinet works. Still it's thought to be owned by the Church of Scotland with an annual rental of £1. For such a small church, there's a surprising number of significant burials here. For instance, Thomas Granger, who was a civil engineer and surveyor who was responsible, amongst other things, for the architecture of Haymarket Station. Sir Robert Liston of Milburn Tower is buried here. He was a career diplomat and was a British ambassador to several countries during his time. James Pittendree McGilvery and his wife Frida and two of their daughters are buried here. He designed the memorial. It has rather strange metal ear-like structures coming out the side. He was a famous architect and also a minor poet. One of his statues was that of Robert Burns, and that's at the Irvine Moor in North Ayrshire. Another burial is that of C.C. Mitchell. He was an engineer, became a commander of the Royal Navy. He is credited with the perfection of the catapult and arresters for aircraft on aircraft carriers and for the development of the steam catapult. At one time there was an ancient font, but this appears to have been lost. Behind the church there lies the remains of an old farm, and somewhere in the locality there was once an old boundary stone known as the Gogar Stone.